Welcome to the final video in the Plant Identification Study series. At this point, you've learned how landscapers organize plants, how to match plants to sites, and how to study individual plants using a plant profile. Now we're going to bring it all together. In this video, we'll compare plants that are easy to confuse, review memory techniques, and practice answering exam-style questions. The goal is not to memorize everything perfectly. The goal is to recognize clues, eliminate bad choices, and answer with confidence. Plant ID questions are often about recognition. You may not be asked to identify a plant from a photograph or a physical description. Instead, you will most likely need to recognize which plant fits a certain condition or landscape use. For example, which plant prefers wet soil? Which plant works well as a screen? Which plant is a deciduous conifer? Which plant would you choose for shade? If you understand the plant's type, preferred conditions, and landscape use, you can often answer the question even if you don't remember every detail. One of the best ways to remember plants is to compare them. Instead of studying Oregon grape by itself, compare it to English holly. Instead of studying Western red cedar by itself, compare it to Douglas fir. When you compare two similar plants, the differences become more memorable. That's especially useful for exam questions, because answer choices often include plants from the same general category. Let's start with Douglas fir and Western red cedar. Both are large evergreen conifers common in the Pacific Northwest. Douglas fir has needle-like foliage and distinctive cones with small bracts that look like little mouse tails sticking out. Western red cedar has flattened, scale-like foliage arranged in sprays. In landscape use, Western red cedar is especially useful for screening, privacy, windbreaks, and moist sites. Memory clue: Douglas fir has needles and mousetail cones. Western red cedar has soft, flat sprays and makes a strong screen. English holly and Oregon grape can be confusing because both have glossy, spiny, holly-like leaves. But there are important differences. English holly is known for its red berries and classic holly appearance. Oregon grape has yellow flowers, followed by blue or purple berries. Oregon grape is also a Pacific Northwest native and is commonly used in naturalized or low-maintenance landscapes. Memory clue: holly has red berries. Oregon grape has yellow flowers and blue-purple berries. Japanese maple and Norway maple are both maples, but they serve very different landscape purposes. Japanese maple is usually a small ornamental tree, often used as an accent or specimen plant, especially in smaller landscapes. It has graceful branching, fine leaves, and strong fall color. Norway maple is a much larger shade tree. Memory clue: Japanese maple is a small accent maple. Norway maple is a large shade maple. Dogwoods and mountain ash can both be used as ornamental landscape plants. Dogwoods are often remembered for their flowers, branching structure, or, in the case of Redosier dogwood, bright red winter stems. Mountain ash is commonly recognized by clusters of berries and a small to medium tree form. Memory clue: dogwood gives flowers or colorful stems. Mountain ash gives clusters of berries. Hosta and Japanese spurge are both useful in shade, but they are not the same type of plant. Hosta is an herbaceous perennial. It grows large leaves during the growing season, then dies back in winter. Japanese spurge, also called Pachysandra, is a low-growing evergreen ground cover. It spreads to cover the soil and is often used under trees or in shaded planting beds. Memory clue: Hosta equals large shade leaves. Japanese spurge equals evergreen shade ground cover. Before we move into practice, let's add a few more anchor plants to your memory. Dawn redwood is important because it is a deciduous conifer. That means it has needles and cones, but loses its needles in fall. Variegated kiwi is a vine, often grown for colorful foliage. Blue fescue is an ornamental grass, recognized by its blue-gray color and clumping habit. Lavender prefers sun and well-drained soil. Japanese snowbell is a small ornamental tree with white bell-shaped flowers. Boxwood is a broadleaf evergreen shrub, often used for formal structure or hedging. These plants may not all fit into the same category, but each one gives you a useful memory anchor. Another strong memory strategy is grouping plants by landscape use. Instead of asking, "What facts do I need to memorize?" ask, "What job does this plant do?" Western red cedar works well as a screen. Japanese maple works well as an accent. Kinnikinick works well as a ground cover. Hosta works well in shade. Red osier dogwood works well in wet areas. Lavender works well in dry, sunny, well-drained sites. When you group plants by purpose, exam questions become easier because many questions describe a landscape need. You can also group plants by environment. If a question mentions wet soil, think of plants like red osier dogwood or western red cedar. If it mentions dry soil, think of kinnikinick, Oregon grape, lavender, or yarrow. If it mentions shade, think of hosta, Japanese spurge, or Japanese skimmia. If it mentions year-round structure, think evergreen. The more you connect plants to environments, the easier it is to narrow answer choices. Here's one of the most important strategies for multiple choice exams. Sometimes it is easier to eliminate the wrong answers first. If the question asks for a wet soil plant, eliminate plants that prefer dry, well-drained soil. If the question asks for a ground cover, eliminate large trees and shrubs. If the question asks for year-round structure or privacy, eliminate deciduous plants. Plant questions often become much easier when you focus on what does not fit. Let's pause for one final review. Here are 10 last quiz questions for you. As you prepare for the exam, remember this: plant identification improves with repetition. You probably won't remember every plant after one viewing, and that's normal. Watch these videos more than once. Say the answers out loud. Make your own plant teams. Compare similar plants. And most importantly, look for real examples in landscapes, parks, nurseries, and neighborhoods. Repeated exposure is one of the best ways to build plant recognition. Keep reviewing, keep observing, and keep practicing. You're building a skill that will help you not only pass the test, but also make better planting decisions in the field. Great work completing the plant identification series. Good luck on the exam.